imagine this. You wake up with big dreams. You know exactly what you should be doing to change your life. But when it's time to take action, nothing happens. That workout you planned, skipped. That business idea, still in your head. That difficult conversation you need to have, avoided again. Here's what nobody tells you. This isn't about motivation. This isn't about willpower. This is about how your brain is wired. And until you understand this wiring, you'll keep struggling. No matter how many motivational videos you watch, your brain has one primary job: keep you alive. Not happy, not successful, alive. And to your prehistoric brain, anything new, anything uncomfortable, anything uncertain looks exactly like a saber-toothed tiger, something to run from. That hesitation you feel, that's not you being lazy. That's millions of years of evolution screaming at you to stay safe. But here's where things get interesting. There's a tiny window, just 5 seconds, between when you have an idea and when your brain slams on the brakes. 5 seconds to act before your protection system kicks in. 5 seconds that determine whether you'll move forward or stay stuck. I discovered this the hard way. There was a time when I couldn't even get out of bed when my alarm went off. I knew exactly what I needed to do to change my life, but I just couldn't do it. Until one morning, desperate, I tried something ridiculous. I counted backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and launched myself out of bed before my brain could argue. That simple countdown changed everything. Because I learned something profound. Action isn't the result of motivation. Motivation is the result of action. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel confident. You just need to move before your brain can stop you. Think about the last time you hesitated. That moment when you thought about raising your hand in a meeting and didn't. When you considered asking for that raise and stayed quiet. When you almost went to the gym but found an excuse. In every case, there was a 5-second window where you could have changed everything if only you'd moved before your brain took over. This is why most people never change. They wait until they feel like it. They wait for motivation. They wait for confidence. But here's the secret successful people know. You'll never feel like it. Not really. Not in the way you're waiting for. The magic happens when you act despite not feeling ready. Every area of your life comes down to these 5-second decisions. Decision to get up when the alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze. The decision to speak up instead of staying quiet. The decision to start instead of waiting for perfect conditions. The decision to keep going when it gets hard. This isn't just about productivity. This is about reclaiming your power. Because right now, there's something you know you should do, something that could change your life if you just did it consistently. Maybe it's finally starting that side hustle. Maybe it's having that tough conversation. Maybe it's taking care of your health. Whatever it is, your brain has been convincing you it's safer to stay put. But today, you're going to outsmart it. The next time you feel that hesitation, that moment between knowing what to do and actually doing it, you're going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. No thinking, no debating, just action. Because here's what happens when you start doing this. First, you shock your system. Then you build momentum. And soon, you rewire your brain to work for you instead of against you. That voice that says, I can't, gets quieter. The resistance gets weaker. And suddenly, you're the kind of person who takes action instead of making excuses. This is how ordinary people create extraordinary lives. Not through some magical motivation hack, not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by making 5-second decisions over and over until action becomes who you are. So, here's your challenge. The next time you know what you should do, but don't feel like doing it, whether it's getting out of bed, making that call, or starting that project, count backward from 5 and move. Don't think, don't hesitate, just act. Do this for 1 week and watch what happens. Your confidence will grow, your momentum will build, and you'll finally understand what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The life you want isn't on the other side of motivation, it's on the other side of action. And the bridge between them takes exactly 5 seconds to cross. So what are you waiting for? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go Let me tell you why those 5 seconds change everything. When you count down and physically move, whether it's getting out of bed, picking up the phone, or putting on your running shoes, you accomplish something extraordinary. You interrupt your brain's default programming. You break the autopilot cycle that's been running your life. Most people don't realize they're living on autopilot until years have slipped by. They wake up one day wondering, how did I get here? The answer is simple. One tiny hesitation at a time. One decision to hit snooze. One moment of staying quiet when you should speak up. One day of putting it off until tomorrow. These microscopic hesitations compound into massive regret. But when you use the 5-second rule, you're doing more than just taking action. You're training yourself to become the type of person who takes action. There's a monumental difference. The first is a tactic. The second is an identity shift. And identity is everything. Think about it. Who do you want to be? The person who hesitates and second guesses, or the person who sees what needs to be done and does it? Every 5-second decision is a vote for your future self. At first, the votes don't seem to matter, but over time, they determine everything. This is why motivation is garbage. Motivation depends on how you feel, but discipline depends on who you are. And who you are depends on the small choices you make every single day. The choice to get up when you're tired. The choice to work when you're not inspired. The choice to keep going when you want to quit. Here's what's fascinating. Your brain can't tell the difference between real danger and uncomfortable growth. Public speaking feels life-threatening. Starting a business feels terrifying. Having a difficult conversation feels like walking into a lion's den. But none of these things will actually kill you. In fact, doing them might be exactly what brings you to life. The 5-second rule works because it creates just enough space between stimulus and response for you to choose courage over comfort. It's not about ignoring fear, it's about moving forward anyway. The most successful people in the world aren't fearless. They're just people who learn to act in spite of fear. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Imagine 2 versions of yourself. Version 1 hits snooze every morning. Version 2 uses the 5-second rule to get up immediately. After 1 week, version 2 has 5 extra hours of productive time. After 1 year, over 250 hours. It's more than 6 40-hour work weeks, all from one small decision each morning. Version 1 hesitates to speak up in meetings. Version 2 counts down and shares ideas. After 6 months, version 2 gets promoted because their contributions are visible. Version 1 wonders why they're being overlooked. Version 1 thinks about exercising but never quite gets around to it. Version 2 counts down and puts on workout clothes immediately. After a year, version 2 is in the best shape of their life. Version 1 feels frustrated and out of shape. The difference between these 2 versions isn't talent, intelligence, or luck. It's the willingness to act in those critical 5-second windows. Because here's the truth, your brain doesn't want you to know. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. When you move first, the feelings follow. Confidence comes after courageous action. Motivation comes after you start. Momentum comes after you begin. Waiting to feel ready is the greatest lie we tell ourselves. You become ready by doing, not by waiting. This is how you break any bad habit. This is how you build any good habit. This is how you change your career, your relationships, your health, your finances. Not through massive overhauls, but through consistent 5-second decisions to show up as the person you want to become. The most powerful part, this tool is always available to you right now in this moment. Whatever you've been putting off, whatever you know you should do, whatever would move your life forward, you can start in 5 seconds. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, now. Because here's what I've learned. The life you want isn't about having more time, more resources, or more knowledge. It's about using what you have right now. It's about taking that idea in your head and bringing it into the world before your brain talks you out of it. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 5 days, use the 5-second rule for one thing you know would make a difference in your life. Just one. Maybe it's getting up when the alarm goes off. Maybe it's having that difficult conversation. Maybe it's finally starting that project. Count down, take action, and watch what happens. Because in the end, your life won't be defined by the grand gestures or lucky breaks. It will be defined by what you did in those ordinary moments when no one was watching, those 5-second windows where you chose courage over comfort, action over hesitation, growth over safety. The clock is ticking. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What will you choose? Let me show you exactly how this works in your daily life, because understanding the science is one thing, but seeing it in action changes everything. Picture this. It's Monday morning, your alarm goes off. In that split second, you have two paths. Path one, you hit snooze, just 9 more minutes. Except it's never 9 minutes, it's 45. You wake up rushed, skip breakfast, and start your day feeling behind. That meeting you wanted to prepare for, no time. The workout you planned, maybe tomorrow. The entire day feels like playing catch up. Path 2, the alarm sounds. Before your brain can whisper 5 more minutes, you start the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You swing your legs out of bed. It's not pretty. You're not suddenly energized, but you're up. Now you have time to prepare for that meeting. Time for a proper breakfast. Time to think clearly before the chaos begins. The entire day shifts because of one 5-second decision. This is the domino effect of the 5-second rule in action. That first decision creates momentum that carries through your entire day, because here's what neuroscience shows us. Every action you take sends signals to your brain about who you are. When you hit snooze, you're telling your brain. Path 2, the alarm sounds. Before your brain can whisper 5 more minutes, you start the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You swing your legs out of bed. It's not pretty. You're not suddenly energized, but you're up. Now you have time to prepare for that meeting. Time for a proper breakfast. Time to think clearly before the chaos begins. The entire day shifts because of one 5-second decision. This is the domino effect of the 5-second rule in action. That first decision creates momentum that carries through your entire day, because here's what neuroscience shows us. Every action you take sends signals to your brain about who you are. When you hit snooze, you're telling your brain, I'm someone who puts things off. When you get up immediately, you're telling your brain, I'm someone who follows through. Now let's talk about resistance. That invisible force that keeps you from doing what you know you should do. Resistance isn't some mystical enemy. It's your brain doing its job too well. Every time you face something uncertain, whether it's starting a business, having a tough conversation, or going to the gym, your brain perceives it as potential danger, so it creates resistance, procrastination, self-doubt, sudden urges to check social media. The 5-second rule is your secret weapon against resistance. When you count down and act, you're essentially hacking your brain's operating system. You're creating a neural bypass around your survival instincts. Do this consistently, and you literally rewire your brain to associate action with safety instead of danger. This explains why motivation is so unreliable. Motivation depends on your emotional state, but discipline is just a series of 5-second decisions. The more you make them, the stronger your discipline muscle becomes. That's why successful people seem to have more willpower. They've simply practiced making these micro decisions more often. Let me give you 3 real-world examples of how this transforms lives. The entrepreneur. She has a brilliant business idea, but keeps putting off launching. Every time she sits down to work, she hesitates. What if no one buys it? What if I fail? Then she discovers the 5-second. Now, when hesitation hits, she counts down and immediately opens her laptop. 3 months later, she has her first paying customers. The artist, he dreams of painting but never finds time. The truth? He hesitates every time he considers picking up the brush. With the 5-second rule, he counts down and puts paint to canvas before his brain can object. 6 months later, he's preparing for his first gallery show. The parent, she wants to be more present with her kids, but keeps getting distracted by her phone. Now, when she notices her child trying to show her something, she counts down and physically puts the phone away. The result? Deeper connections and fewer regrets at bedtime. The pattern is always the same. Hesitation leads to stagnation. Immediate action leads to transformation. And the bridge between them is just 5 seconds long. This week, I challenge you to become a scientist of your own behavior. Notice those moments of hesitation throughout your day. When you think about exercising, when you consider speaking up, when you know you should make that important call, observe how your brain tries to stop you, then use the 5-second rule to override the hesitation. Remember, you don't need to be fearless. You just need to be 5 seconds braver than your doubts. Because on the other side of those 5 seconds is a version of yourself you've been waiting to meet, the one who takes action, who follows through, who doesn't wait for permission to build an extraordinary life. The count starts now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What will you choose to do differently today? Here's the simple, life-changing truth. Your dreams don't require more motivation. They require more action. And between you and that action stands just 5 seconds of courage. Every day, you're given countless 5-second opportunities to change your life. The moment your alarm rings, the pause before you speak up, the hesitation before you start. These tiny windows determine everything, because life isn't transformed in grand gestures. It's built in these seemingly insignificant moments where you choose to move before your brain can stop you. The most successful people aren't luckier or more talented. They've simply mastered this one skill, acting fast when it matters. They've learned that motivation follows action, not the other way around. That confidence comes after you begin, not before. That the person you want to become emerges through these daily 5-second decisions. So starting today, stop waiting to feel ready. You never will. Stop believing you need more time. You don't. The power to change your life has always been in your hands. It just takes 5 seconds to activate it. When hesitation strikes, remember 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Move before your doubts can mount. Act before your excuses form. Build the life you want, one 5-second decision at a time, because years from now, you won't regret the things you did. You'll regret those 5 seconds you didn't take. The clock is ticking. What will you choose?